Hi, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Yeah. How you been?
Been pretty good. The weather's warmed up here. I was able to get some grounding in and some good sun because we had like a week of rain. That was no fun.
Perfect time for grounding, though.
Yeah. So that's true. I didn't do it. I didn't do it when it was wet and rainy.
Oh, live well, die well. How you doing?
Hi.
DFW, Texas. Oh, good to see you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of miserable when it's cold and wet. It's kind of miserable weather. You don't really want to go outside, do you? You just want to sort of curl up under a good rug and watch a movie or something.
Yep.
You
Especially here where I live in Southern California, it's sunny, 98% of the time. So we're all a bunch of crybabies when it comes to the rain
Yeah.
and driving in it and all of that.
I think it's good proof though that how the sunlight makes you feel, because on a cold dark day like that you feel
Yes.
miserable, right?
Yes.
But on a nice sunny day you go outside, you just feel uplifted. That's why depression is so bad throughout winter, or much higher anyway.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. As soon
yeah,
as the sun came out, it was like something just pulled me outside,
yeah,
it was nice.
yeah,
Hi,
that's right. As soon as you see the light you think, wow, I've got to get outside.
Yep.
So I'll just pull up your channel name. There we go.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, Simpson is asking me about my lioness portrait. This was painted for me by my fellow lioness, Ellie. It was a Christmas gift. So if you don't know, we do a live stream every Tuesday on our Lioness Lifestyle Live channel. We generally interview another meat-based woman on that show. So yes, my lioness portrait back there from Ellie. Thanks for asking. She did a great job.
Yeah, I'll just put that question up so everyone understands. Yeah, that's nice. That's sweet. Does the lioness group, does that include little Rhonda? Is it? I think she's in California too, isn't she?
Rhonda is in California, but no, she was on the other lioness show that was called the Fierce Felines. They no longer are doing that show, but it was on for about a year. And she was one of that group. We have myself and Ellie at Nourishment Redacted and Adrian at Adrian K. Gledhill.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't seen anything from Rhonda for a while, actually.
I just texted her. She's doing great. It's just she's still working. So she works a job where they renew the contract. And she said, oh, yeah, my contract got renewed. So I'm still working. So yeah, she hasn't made any videos, recently. But I did meet her in person at Low Carb San Diego a few months back. That was really nice. But yeah, she's doing well.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. All right. So what's going on with you?
Well, gosh, I just coming up to the crazy part of my teaching year called state testing.
That's gonna suck.
Yeah, it's like every teacher's least favorite part of the year, because we have to do it and everything, but we don't. Then everything's kind of focused on that. But looking forward to promoting another group of fifth graders. I kind of find it my mission to get them ready to go on, because in my state, after fifth grade, they go on to middle school, right? So they're kind of done with elementary school and they do a little promotion, and they're moving on. So I'm excited for that. They're all getting excited to go. And in my carnivore life, I just put out a grocery haul video this morning of my stuff that I get at Walmart, which includes my very favorite picanha, as everyone who knows me knows. I bought 3 of them today. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I think Christy manages to bring picanha into every conversation somehow.
I sure do. The picanha defender. It's too bad that's not, there's no money in this carnivore game, DC. I can't be, I don't work for the picanha. Big picanha is not a thing.
No, that's right. Yeah. No, there's no money involved. It's certainly not coming our way anyway. But, oh, well, that's okay. Yeah, well, I mean, the good thing is that we're getting information out there,
That's
hopefully.
right. Yeah. My son is doing very well. So he's been carnivore just a little
Oh,
over a year
good.
now.
Yeah.
No end to that in sight. The other day I forgot to put electrolytes in his water and he texted me from school. Did you forget my electrolytes? Because I don't taste my water doesn't taste like they're in there. Whoopsie. So those are the
Should
kind of
told him,
texts I get from him now.
should have told them they're in there. They're just the flavorless kind.
Yeah, right. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah, he missed
Yeah,
them, but
that's
I
good.
didn't put them
How's he
in.
going with these ADHD?
So he made rapid improvements right at the beginning.
Yeah,
And then now he's just kind of leveled off there, right? So he's made all those improvements and he's maintained all of them. I would also say, but of course you can't know for sure because you can't do both things at the same time, but he took off growth wise. So he's put on, I don't know, a couple, 2 or 3 inches. He's caught up with his older brother. So his older
wow.
brother's 19 and he is 16, and they're like essentially the same height now. So would he have done that anyway? I don't know. But I can tell you after he went carnivore, he had a pretty massive growth spurt there. And
Yeah.
then in terms of his ADHD, all the gains that he made, he's leveled out, and he's just sailing and just doing a really good job of, he's just feeling good, maintaining that those levels. We're still looking for, improvements in school, but maybe that's just not, who knows? But
Well, it's difficult, like I mean, I know I have found a few things that help me with study, like the Pomodoro method. Do you know that Pomodoro? Yeah.
no, but
Um,
I appreciate that. I just don't think he's interested. I wish we would have
yeah.
known about
Well,
carnivore
maybe
when
as
he
it
was
gets older.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that he would have gotten to some good habits because he is very bright, but I think he'll find his way. He'll find
Yeah.
his way. He enjoys
Yeah, it's not a matter of being like having ADHD doesn't mean you're stupid or anything. It just means that
right.
you just have. I mean, actually, they're usually very bright people. The problem is that they have so many ideas. It's very difficult to focus on one thing at a time, and
Mhm.
you get distracted very easily. So I find like Pomodoro study method or even work method is really healthy because the Pomodoro method is say if you study for 25 minutes and then have a 5 minute break and do something a little more calming or a little bit different. I sort of
Mhm.
changed it. Like some study experts say, like just doodling, just drawing pictures for your 5 minute break. But I like to get the body moving. I like to get up and I do jump rope. And like you might start small too. Like I think it's a studying is a discipline that you can learn. So if you do, even if you start like just 10 minutes at a time, then have a minute break. You know.
Yeah. So those are
Um,
strategies we tried with him when he was younger, but without the diet, he just had no interest, and I find that he still just doesn't have, interest. When it's something that
well,
he
it's still
enjoys,
young.
oh yeah, he's 16. He's taught
Yeah.
himself a lot of skills on the computer and things like that. So I think he'll be okay. He enjoys technology. He can do hardware, software, all that stuff. Like after he went carnivore, one of the things he did was his room was a big mess and he cleaned it out. And in so doing, he found like all these broken pieces of technology and he found an Amazon gift card from a birthday at one point. And he went on Amazon and he ordered the thing that he needed. This is very not technical because I have no clue, right? He could tell you technically what he did. But, anyways, he used this stuff from Amazon that he got and all these broken things and he cobbled it together to make one functioning device.
Oh, that's
And
great.
that was just like on his own. He just decided, like, I'm going to do this project, which he would never before. He would just sit
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
do
I
that.
think yeah, carnivore makes such a big difference to the. I mean, you look at what sugar does to your brain, and then look what fats do to your brain. I mean, it's going to be the benefits are there for everyone, but I think it's really noticeable in the ADHD brain. Um,
Mm,
and especially like young kids going to love technology, is going to love computers because we love new things. That's why we get distracted so much. We love new things, with ADHD brain. It's slightly different to neurotypicals. Just we want to we want a quick win so we can move on to the next one, you know. So, but that's really cool. That's good to see, you know. And I think it's wonderful you start them so young. You know, I wish I could do the same, you know, like Rick did. Yeah.
Yeah, Rick, you're in the
Oh,
chat. How old? I
right.
know you were a kid, but how old were you? My son was 15 when I started him. Yeah, he's
Rick
coming
was
up on
15
16.
too.
We'll see if he makes 6 feet. He wasn't
Yeah.
predicted to make 6 feet. You know how and who knows how accurate those things are. But you know how the pediatrician will say like the growth chart or whatever. He was supposed to be 5'10", 5'11", somewhere in that range. He's only 16 and he's reached height now, so we'll see.
I mean, we all grow at different. I mean, your growth is going to depend on your hormone production, and that's all going to change depending on, you know, everyone's different. I hate these sort of predicted growth chart things. I think it's just these doctors trying to make themselves sound like they're more useful than they are.
Yeah.
They're trying to save their job, you know. They're like a government worker, you know. They just have to find it. They'll build a new department just so they'll have a job to do. You know?
Right. Well, so my son recently came down with something that gave him a little cough, and I would prefer that his body just fight that off. But in that, you know, he's had asthma since he was little, and you know, it tends to he's not that person that has to use the inhaler every day, but like when he gets sick, you know, he'll get wheezy and things. Anyways, point being, we need a refill on his inhaler, but I'm like, I'm gonna wait till he gets better. Because I don't want to take the doctor. If I take him in there and he's coughing, is going to try to put him on like all this medicine, and he's fine. You know, his body's going to kick it, and then we'll go in there and you know, get the rescue inhaler for if he needs it. But I feel like that's gotten, you know, less and less. It's something that he's needed less and less the older he gets. It's just a very rare occasion now, currently.
Yeah. Oh, that's
you know.
good. Well, hopefully, as he gets older too, and the longer he's on carnivore diet, he'll gradually get off it completely. You know.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Well, I mean, I was on an inhaler too when I was a teenager, but you know, like in my 20s, I did marathons and triathlon and stuff like that too. So,
Nice.
you know, I think you grow out of it.
Yeah, some people do.
Yeah. My son's mate asked if I would join their 5-kilometer walk. I would die. I should ask if is the benches for me to sit on, meet you at the way back. On the way back, yeah, I can work on getting the 5K walk. Well, I think you'd surprise yourself, Josephine. 5 kilometers, I'm sure you could do it. You know, there's no time limit. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss my morning walks. When I'm teaching, I can't walk in the morning. I prefer to walk in the morning when the sun's coming up. But during summer break and things like that, I get out and walk almost every morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great to get out. I think, you know, try and beat the sun, but be outside as soon as you can, as soon as you wake up. I think it's just a great feeling, you know, watch the sun come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the way the brain thinks now too. Feels good. I've been like a lot of these. That's why I've been making these videos on micronutrients for members as well, because it really fascinates me how they affect the brain, you know, and trying to really trying to find new ways to help my ADHD brain sort of be more efficient, you know. Texas has introduced several health-related bills pertaining to foods and physical education. The winds of change may be blowing. Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I heard something about that online, that Texas had recently passed some bills related to that and making sure kids get PE every day at school and things like that. We have that here in California, although it's not every day, but we have to do 200 minutes of PE every 2 weeks in elementary school. In fact, it's kind of ironic to me that that's the only thing that's mandated. So
That's
math and reading aren't
bad.
mandated, but PE is. But yeah, 200 minutes every 2 weeks. And so if it's rainy, that way it doesn't have to be every day. Cause like if it's pouring rain or whatever, if we have inclement weather, it often gets well over 100 degrees here, stuff like that. We can make it up, you know, as long as it's within that 2 week period.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's not too bad actually. I think here in our schools, it's more. I don't think it's mandated. I think it's. I mean, it used to be when I was a kid, we had PE every day, but um, I don't think they're so active now anymore.
Yeah, the
Mm.
kids, there's a few that enjoy it and most of them hate it. And I get notes from the parents stating like they don't want their kids to exert themselves. That's
Oh
a
my
direct
gosh.
quote from an email regarding PE that I received from a parent this year. They don't want their child to have to exert themselves. So it's a bit frustrating
Yeah.
when we get things like that. But it is mandated by the state. So it is something, that we get them outside and give them opportunities to.
It's ironic,
um,
really, isn't it? They're kind of like they're overprotective, but they're really just they're damaging the kids' health.
Right, right. I'm sure that I can infer that the child probably went home and complained about the laps that were required that day, which probably resulted in that email. Because you're right, they're helicopter or lawnmower. I think a better description for that would be the lawnmower parent, right? My kid shouldn't have to
Yeah,
not enjoy something, so I'm gonna remove all the obstacles that they don't want to do.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I have healed my asthma over time by inhaling frankincense essential oil. I haven't had to use the inhaler in 8 years. Well, that's good to know, Karen.
8 years,
Yeah,
wow.
that's excellent. Very good. I think anything that gets you off these things, is going to be good. Um, Maybe we can tackle testing next week. Next, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was out going through my junk pile to find another bicycle tire. Yeah, well, I hope you find one, mate. I always hated physical education, too hot and humid. Yeah, I can understand you're not liking it so much. The heat, like I know Florida is very tropical.
Yes.
Um,
We're hot here too, but it's dry. And I don't give my kids busy work, Rick. You'll be glad to know I assign no homework unless the only homework they would have is if we have a test, then that's up to them to study if they choose to study, or if they don't finish something during class time, it's their
yeah,
responsibility to finish it. But I don't want to say you got to do page 7 for homework tonight. That doesn't happen in my class.
yeah. Rick's got a good point though here. Like, they gave him like they make you do PE, but they give you like heaps of homework to take home, so you stay inside to study. I was the same, really. I never really liked sports at school. I always did sports either before or after school when I was a kid. But I think I was far more active outside of school than I was inside of school. Um, Maybe, I don't know, that's not a bad point, Rick. Maybe they should take PE out and just, because I mean, teachers are not parents. So,
No, and I'm also not educated in PE. Like we don't have separate. Some school districts here have a PE teacher that comes in, but we don't. But PE was not part of my teacher training,
no.
so I'm trained in all the academic areas for elementary school: math, science, English language arts, history.
Yeah.
My degree is in
Maybe
that.
they should, maybe they should focus more on learning, like, the sciences and things like that, maybe languages and things like that, and just leave the sports for outside of school.
That's what I enjoyed. I played volleyball and I hated PE when I had to do it. And I was in my time that if you did an after school sport in high school, it you didn't have to take PE, right? So I
Yeah,
gladly traded and played volleyball and went to practice every day rather than do PE during the
yeah, that
day.
would be better. At least you're doing
Mhm.
something you want to do.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that would be better. Yeah. Okay. I was going out through the path today. Yeah, I was looking for bicycle tires that I wanted to use, and on a chicken tractor. I didn't find any. Hopefully, yeah. Rick's yard's probably got something. I think there's got to be if there's got to be something for everything in there. I think in Rick's yard, either
I
that or in
think
his shed.
so.
Yeah, people might be scared to exercise. Many people have died suddenly exercising. Yeah, but it wasn't caused by the exercise though. It was caused by their health. Yeah. Um, we used to go to school field after hours about 15 years ago.
Yes.
They blocked all the entrances and locked up the schools to keep kids out.
Yes, when I was a kid, you reminded me, Rick. When I was a kid, my grandma lived right across the street from my elementary school, and I would walk home or walk there. But then we would like meet up and we could get back on campus and use the playground. Or we used to put on our roller skates and go roller skating because, you know, they have like the big blacktop area over there. And even when I was younger than that, there was a high school right down the street, and we would take our bikes and go jump over the speed bumps, like jump off of the speed bumps in the high school parking lot. You're right,
Yeah,
though. You
yeah,
can't do that anymore. They locked all the campuses down, so you can't get on them anymore.
yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, I used to do that sort of stuff when I was a kid too. But I mean, these days, I think they probably locked it up because of vandalism too. You know.
Yeah, we've had
So
people get on campus and destroy things like the
yeah,
soccer goals and things like that are outside.
yeah.
Yep,
I can understand that. Yeah. It's
it's
just,
sad.
yeah, it's really it's just ridiculous. I don't see the I don't know what's going through their heads, honestly. But anyway, just the way they are. Missing cat was in the backyard.
Awesome. I think Pixel's out in the garage. She likes to hang out in the garage sometimes. That's where she is right now.
Uh, it hurt your leg. Be interesting to see how long it takes to heal. Well, I hope it does heal quickly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've always kind of healed pretty quick. But on the carnivore though, like any sort of cuts or bruise or anything, I like maybe 2-3 days. I completely forgotten about it. It's gone. So
Yeah, I have the
Rick
same
found the
thing.
parts needed. Yeah, you found the parts, mate. That's good.
Nice, Rick. Are you going to ride to the grocery store? Where are you going on that bike?
They're funny, those tours he does. I like he's always got a story to tell. He just cruises along. Yeah, quite funny. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think that what's the difference? Do you think that schools today? Do you think they? What's the biggest difference? Do you think that you see from when you were a kid going to school to where you are now teaching?
Wow. Well, when I was a kid going to school, they expected us, not that I necessarily think this is the best philosophy, but like we had to sit and do our work and they expected us to do that and we were all able to do it. Like we did all do it. We didn't
Yeah,
like it.
you didn't have a
They
choice.
didn't have to bribe us. They weren't, giving us a bunch of consequences. We would sit there and just do our work. Um, if we were caught doing something like, let's say, chewing gum on campus, which was against the rules, we would have to write lines, I will not chew gum at school 50 times, that kind of thing. Oh my gosh, if I told a kid to do that now, I would get in big trouble. So
Yeah,
the
well,
consequences, I basically, as a teacher, have no consequences anymore. So the behaviors have gotten more out of control and more frequent. And the consequences that they like, I can't take recess away. I can't, it's just, I can talk to them and tell them that that's not appropriate and this is not, that kind of thing. I can counsel them, but I don't have really consequences at my disposal like I used to.
yeah,
And I can say the kids, because I've been teaching 25 years, and the students that I had in between the years, 2000 to 2008 or 10 or so, you'd assign them something like, we're going to write an essay, and they could all just write an essay, right? They just came to me, they could do that. Now I'm lucky if they can write a paragraph, and I tend to get a lot of complaining about that. So the ability of what kids are and are not able to do. Simpson's not wrong. I did have a student drop an F-bomb.
that's so bad.
I
I
know.
remember when I was a kid, we used to get the cane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had a
But
paddle.
I remember a
Over
teacher
here.
used to have like a little thin piece of bamboo, and he'd wrap it like across our knuckles.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yep.
it was.
Yeah, we had a paddle.
You imagine doing that now.
But if I tell, if I talk to a student and say, whatever I might say to them, and they go home and complain to their parents, the parents, instead of backing the teacher, like when I was a kid, if the teacher would have said, Christy was not well behaved in school, she did this, like I wouldn't have been able to sit down for a week because of my parents, and I would
Yeah.
have had to go apologize. And for sure, they wouldn't have really cared what my side of the story necessarily was. If the teacher said that I misbehaved, then I misbehaved, right? And if I call a parent and say, Mr. and Mrs. So and so, your child was doing this in class, it's always, oh, not always, a high majority of the time turned around on me, like, well, what, or the other students, right? What were the other students doing that they wanted to do that? Or why were you not being engaging enough as a teacher so that they felt that they needed to go look up race cars online instead of doing their classwork or whatever? It's like that. It's not, oh my gosh, it's not, they should not be doing that, I'm so sorry, we're going to have a conversation when they get home. It's never that. It's rarely that. It's always the blame to, like, so I usually just try to handle it internally now, between myself and the student, and if necessary, the principal. So the parent support is often lacking. Students have a lot less resilience, and
Oh,
are
yeah.
not able to, like, work for as long of a period of time without
Imagine what
having to
their
change
futures are
or
going to be
need a
like.
break. Yeah. Like, one of the new strategies out there it's called vertical surfaces. And it's like to let kids work, standing up away from their desk, which that's fine. But like, they have to train us to do that. They just can't, like, sit, or if they're
Yeah.
sitting, they're not learning as well. If they're standing and working at a vertical surface with a team, it's things like that. So the learning styles have changed. What's successful with students have changed. The attitude towards school has changed. Attendance it seems, since 2020 and the event that happened at that time, parents and students alike tend to think of school as it's not really necessary. So it's okay if they miss a couple of days a week. I have a lot of kids missing 1 or 2 days every single week.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe these days at school isn't really necessary, but I mean, you can educate yourself or do the work at home, like online as well. I suppose that's going to come down to the individual, but
Well, I'm talking about
yeah,
students that are
it's
in
just
my class in 5th grade reading at a 2nd grade level and then not showing up for school. So it's not like they're home. Like, I'm the same. Like, yeah, go home and whatever. Like, I'm all for homeschool if that's your choice
yeah.
to do that, but that's not
If
what
you
I'm
do the
talking
work,
about.
yeah,
Right. They're not. They don't. And most of my assignments are available also online, and they don't do it there either, and they're behind, and they continue to get, further and further behind. But the parents will say, you only want my kid at school because that's how the school gets money, because that is how the funding is done here. If they're present, the school district gets paid by the state for that day. And if they're not present, they don't. So they think that when we call home and ask about why their child isn't there, we'll usually get a line about, you just want them there so you get your
yeah,
money.
for the money.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually not why I want them there. Like, it's not my money. It's not going into my bank account. I want them there so they can learn how to read and write.
And some people will tell you that they're not trying to dumb us down, sort of thing. But stupid breeds stupid. You ever seen that? What was that movie called? Was it? I think like about 20 years ago, a movie about this guy was frozen for 500 years, and he wakes up and like everyone's so stupid, like they couldn't
Idiocracy?
even
Are you
go.
talking about Idiocracy?
Yeah, Idiocracy. That's it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's fast. It's happening quick. It's happening very fast.
Yeah, it is.
Uh,
It's very sad.
it's sad, and the problem is that you feel kind of helpless because you can see it happening, but
Mm-hmm.
you can't really explain it to these kids because they've got the mindset that they've got no consequences. They can do whatever they want, you know?
Yes. We say that all the
Yeah.
time. They don't feel like the rules apply to them. If I assign them 10 math problems, they act like it's like, the end of the world. Like, that's just so much work. And I've told them, like, When I was the kid, we would get 30 problems on a page, a very boring looking page, and then we'd get just as many to do for homework that night. And they're like shocked, like they can't believe it. I'm like, I just gave
Yeah.
you 10 problems. That's not even a lot, just to practice with, and we'll work on them together and this kind of anyway. But yeah, like I said, there's no uh, very few students anymore with a work ethic or any of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad because you know what their future is going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's bad enough that everything, the schools were shut down, so they couldn't learn anything anyway. I know friends of mine, their son, he in Tokyo had started university, and they closed it all down. And he hasn't bothered to go back to. He just got himself a job and just getting on with it because he just thought it was all bullshit,
Yeah.
and it completely was.
Well, I had to teach through that time, and I did a lot of hard work, as did the other teachers I know, to put engaging content out there. And it was very few students that actually did the work. And if all we had to do to mark them present for that day was they just had to show up somewhere. So if they logged in for like 3 seconds, onto a Google Meet, we did everything through Google Meet. They were present, and we were told to give them grace on their grades, which means don't fail anybody. Just put some grades on there. So it was most of the students, more than half, didn't engage with any of the online learning at all. So even though I was doing several Google Meets a day with, instruction and providing, like I learned how to do on Google Slides, like all this interactive stuff. And I had my little teacher like Bitmoji on there, and she would like talk to them and read stuff to them and, point at what to do next and all this stuff. And hardly anybody would go and, use that. But we weren't really supposed to hold them accountable, because if we did that, the attendance would have been, like 5% of the students were actually doing, the work. So there was quite a lot of learning loss, during that year and a quarter or whatever that they were, learning.
Everything woke turns to shit.
Yeah, it was bad. None of the teachers that I know enjoyed it. We were all very happy when school was, back in person.
Yeah. And it's difficult. You can't teach someone that doesn't want to learn.
Right.
I think kids. Kids have never been very good at seeing the long term. Like it's always about now, sort of thing. I feel good now, so this is it. I don't have to do anything, sort of thing. So it's really difficult to teach someone that doesn't want to learn.
Absolutely.
It's impossible. My word today, interesting. Ask all how many suffer the throbbing pressure, headaches, and migraines ringing in the ear. I had it 24 hours a day for 41 years. Oh, that's horrible.
Wow.
Understand why I could not learn. Yeah. That's another good thing, another good point. These kids are on the standard Western diet. They're all eating junk food. I'd say it's really sad. One of the big differences I see here in Australia to Japan. In Japan, like the kids, like they'll go to like meat restaurants. Meat restaurants are everywhere in Japan, and they're really, really cheap. I did a video on this last year last time I visited Sendai. There was we went to a restaurant. It's $15 Australian for 5 hours, all you can eat meat, right?
Wow.
And there's a heap of school kids there because it's cheap. School kids all hang out at these sort of restaurants and they eat good food. I mean, sure, they eat some junk food as well, but not as much. And here, they pay much more money, but they'll go to places like McDonald's or Hungry Jack's, or they'll go to the supermarket and get a heap of sugar and carbs and all this other crap.
Yep.
And the difference is night and day. It's like these kids, in Japan, they want to learn. Like even after school, they go to what's called cram school. Like they'll go to they'll spend all day at school from like 8 to 4. Then they'll go to cram school, which is like an extra school to help them study their homework and things like that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And here they barely even show up to class. Like you're saying, they
Mm-hmm.
you see them all through the day, and you're thinking, why aren't they at school? Because they
Yep.
just don't go. You know,
Yep.
they're wandering around
Yep.
malls, shopping malls, and Hungry Jacks, and hanging out with their friends, doing nothing. They have absolutely no foresight for their future, no ambition. You know,
Yeah, I
it's
watched
really
them
bad.
eat. I watched them eat like the highly processed food every day, and then it was really funny on I think it was Thursday or Friday of last week. A messenger came down from the office and handed me a bag of chips and told me that it was one of my students had left them at home and his mom delivered them to school. Like he couldn't just go through his day without his bag of Takis or whatever it was.
Jesus.
And I was like, and I had to I'm like, I know what I want to do with these, but like I had to hand them to the kid, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's sad. Because like they can't think on that stuff. They can't. I mean, you can see why they think like that because you know what sugar does to the brain. You
Right.
know,
Like,
um,
and anymore, it's a very snack centric culture for the kids. Like the kids can't go 2 hours unless we provide them a snack of some kind, right?
yeah,
So they're just
yeah,
eating all day long.
it's just shocking. Isn't it? I don't know if that's something we can fix. Certainly, it's going to take. Certainly, like this generation of kids, I think they're screwed. You know?
Yeah.
And it's
Yes,
so
Lance, it
sad
was
to
a
see.
big pile of duck food.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It
yeah,
was.
big pile of duck food. Yeah. Used to accompany my kids to homeroom first day of school, and tell the teacher I was here to sign the paddle permit. I could,
Paddle
yeah, of
permission. My
course I
parents
didn't.
signed that for me, man. I never got paddled. I was scared of that paddle.
Yeah, yeah, they'd be too scared to do it though. Yeah, now they don't even need the like. Now they do things to kids at schools that they don't even ask the permission of the parents anyway. It's just shocking, shockingly bad. Went to a homeschool. Oh, that's good. I highly recommend it. If she can do it. Not that Chrissy, other teachers. I think that's a really good way to go for many reasons. One, you can, what the kids are eating for one. You can make sure that they're actually doing the work, and two, they're going to be much more scared of your parents than they are of a teacher these days. You know, because your teacher's not your mum's not going to worry about giving you a slap on the butt sort of thing. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's true too. Bullying is another thing. Mm. Yeah, you can avoid that.
Yeah, we were at an assembly, a behavior assembly that we had to have because the fifth grade behavior had been horrible. And the principal made a whole presentation and she's got them all in the cafeteria. And at one point, she's asking, how many of you have had someone, speak mean to you, say inappropriate words to you, or be bullying you, whatever. And of course, all the hands go up, right? Every hand. And then she goes, now, how many of you have said something mean to someone? Yeah, not a single hand went up. We're like, yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just ghosts just saying all these mean things.
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
They're all lying,
They've all been bullied, but no one's done the bullying.
but no one has
Yeah,
done the bullying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Of course. Yeah, it's never their fault. You know.
Right.
But yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people like that, I guess. You know. Yeah, kind of a stupid question though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
who's
she
going to
knew
answer
what would
that?
happen. She knew, and she was like, and we all just kind of all the adults in the room were like, okay, like she knew
Yeah,
what the response was going to be.
yeah.
She made a point of it, right, to say clearly this isn't accurate, students.
Yeah. So is it? I don't know. For me, I don't think I could handle that. So, like, um, are you thinking long term career? Like, are you keep it going or?
So thing with teaching is that once you have so many years in, you might as well just finish it out, right?
Yeah.
Because we do have a pension. I've been paying into it. I'm 49 now. I'm turning 50 in October. The earliest I can collect on my pension is 55. And of course, if we leave at 55, I will have had 31 years in the classroom, and I feel like that's going to be enough years.
Yeah.
My goal is to hang in there until then, because I've worked on, moving my way up the pay scale, and I'm kind of all the way over and all the way down. So I'm making, the maximum a teacher can make. And I really have no interest in going into administration, like none at all, like none at all. And so, yeah, my plan is to go till 55, and hopefully at that point I'll be able to retire and start taking my pension. It's just when you retire at that young of an age, you don't make a good percentage of, you make about 55% of what you were making in the classroom. But that's guaranteed for the rest of your life. And, I'll make sure my house will be paid off by then and things like that. So to me, the mental health
Be a lot
trade-off
less stress.
I'm sorry, what?
Be a lot less stress. Be
Yes,
worth the pay cut.
yes, all of that is worth it to me as long as I can buy some burger patties and eggs. Like I'm a happy girl, right? I don't need a lot. So that's kind of my goal at this point now, is to put in my 31 years, get to 55, and then I don't know what I'll do after that. I know that for Social Security in the United States, teachers until just a couple months ago were not eligible to take it. In a few states, that was considered double dipping. So even though we paid in for, because we don't pay into it as teachers, but like we've worked other jobs where we have paid in. And so they reversed that, and they said, okay, teachers, and it's a few other people too, can now take it. I'm about, I think, 10 quarters short. So I would need to go work any job and pay into Social Security for 2.5 years, to be able to take that. So I'm kicking that idea around, but I don't
That's
really
not a bad idea. I mean, if you just get like any kind of job will do for 2.5
right.
years.
I don't care what it is. As long not tutoring, like nothing in education. Like I love what I do and I love the kids, but like at 31 years, I feel like I'll have put in my time and I want to do something else. I almost don't, just anything but that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I'm getting back on track with walking, treadmill, and outside. That's good. Nice. Excellent. But my back is in excruciating pain, and I'm taking way too much ibuprofen. Yeah, that's not good. Which doesn't give much relief. Any tips? You probably won't like it. A lot of. I know you have a condition, Beth, but supportive muscles of the back, usually to do with the core, like the deepest muscle group, like the transverse abdominals, that sort of wrap around from the back of your spine and actually wrap all the way around and actually help to keep all your organs in place and things like that. But then you have another 4 different muscle groups for your abdominal muscle wall. Okay. And generally speaking, the stronger they are, the more support you're going to give your back. So ab exercises, you can do ab exercises that don't involve arching your back. Okay, so like just using a straight back, you can still do ab exercises. Like even knee lifts, even if you're just standing against the wall, put one arm against the wall for balance, you can do knee lifts, and that is going to use your hip flexors and the lower obliques in your muscle groups, which which will help develop the muscles around your hips, lower hips, and up into the lower back. As far as immediate pain relief, I think a lot of tension comes out in like tight hamstrings. Like sitting for too long shortens your hamstrings because you're not getting a stretch like you do from either walking or you know, lifting your legs up, or just you know, any kind of stretching. So like really tight hamstrings can be a problem as well for back pain. But in terms of immediate pain relief, there's really not much apart from painkillers, except maybe, again, I think it would really come down to, or maybe actually a good, if you have a bathtub, a good mineral bath might help immediately, like for immediate reaction, to help relax the muscles, the tension in your back. But for me, I like to do this like as hot as I can stand it, and have mineral salts in the water, so that we can sort of, this actually helps to draw toxins out of the body as well, and we absorb the minerals in through our skin as well. So it's kind of like replicating an onsen or a hot spring, you know, which are just fantastic for the body, you know, in small doses. Okay, like as hot as I can stand, I don't have it as any longer than 20 minutes, you know. But that's about all I could really recommend, actually. You got any ideas there, Christy?
I was going to suggest the hot soak that you just said. That's one of my favorite things. And it's true, you do absorb the magnesium and stuff in through your skin. And I would just add, when you put the, like I use Epsom salt, just the plain stuff, no scents or anything, just a ton, like more than you think. Just, you know, really saturate that water with those
Yeah,
minerals.
absolutely. Yeah, put a
Mm-hmm.
lot in, as much in
Mm-hmm.
as possible. Yeah. Especially actually magnesium bath salts are really good, because magnesium is actually will relieve muscle pain, especially, and is one of the most essential minerals for recovery. Okay, magnesium. You can also get magnesium cream, you know, like those muscle rubs. You can actually get magnesium cream. That's just pure magnesium cream that you can rub into your skin, through your skin, which is very effective. Actually, it's very good for muscle recovery, and especially spot recovery. Rub it into those muscles in particular. So those are things that I recommend. But apart from, you know, like immediate pain, other than painkillers, there's really not much else. The bath will certainly help you to relax, though. You know.
Yeah. Hey, I was just gonna let you guys know I have to run, but it was nice talking
Sure.
to you. Anytime,
Yeah.
DC. I love to chat with you and come on and do these lives. So hopefully soon we'll do this again.
Excellent. Anytime. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for joining me, Christy. You
Yep.
have a good day.
Bye, everybody.
Take care. Have you tried stomach vacuums? That's a good question. Yeah, stomach vacuums and other great exercises. That's another good reason why I do breath work, because you use a lot of those muscle groups, especially when you would do the outward motion, the breathing out and the breath holds. You can do a squeeze, like an abdominal squeeze. Okay, so these are incorporating all of those supportive muscles for your back. That that exercise, that even that little bit of exercise can really help to help circulate all those fluids as well, like lymph fluid and blood and everything like that, which also help for recovery. But yeah, definitely, like Cynthia is saying, yeah, stomach vacuums and breath work is very effective, I think, and might help with your back pain. Certainly, it will certainly help with strengthening your abs. Okay, which is going to give you more back support as well. Okay. Um, yeah, exactly what Cynthia said. Yeah. Yeah, you're very welcome, Beth. Anytime. Yeah, for immediate relief, I think the baths might help. And it's especially if you've got magnesium salts and things like that as well. But breath work, I've got those videos up for you to, you can watch. But it's very effective for the muscles that support the back, especially the lower back. Okay, because you use all of those abdominal wall muscles to breathe out and in, so you get that muscle contraction. But when you do, especially if you do more advanced sort of breath holds, and you're squeezing those abs in to, you're actually pushing the air back up to your brain. Okay, it's very effective. Yeah. Yeah, it's really just about it's just another form of breath work, really. So you like push it out, and you can push those abs in. I really recommend doing the breath work, actually, Beth. It would really help to strengthen those muscles around the abdomen, around for your back as well. You've been working with your husband to do vacuums, and he started to get that wonderful V in his lower abdominal. Excellent. Very good. Every inner tube here has a hole in it. Yeah. Well, then you just should have a black brick. Yeah. Have you got some patches, mate? You have to put some patches on them all. uh, uh, that's good. I'll have to watch your live later. I wasn't up when you were doing that live, but I'll have to give that a watch later and see how Milton is doing. You got plenty of patches. Good. Yeah, you're gonna need them. Yeah. Uh, Many a time I've been out on the bike and I've had to patch a tire and to patch a tube. Yeah. My bike looks like a cartoon bike with patches. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. One of those junkyard bikes from something like Fat Albert or something. Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, I tell you, talking to Christy, I don't envy her teaching these days. Schools are shockingly bad, and it's a sad situation for the kids' futures. The kids' health. And you can see such a big difference between here and Japan. The kids, it's unbelievable. It's bad. I don't know if there was a movie made about that, like based on that cartoon recently. I think it's about 10 years ago, actually, called Fat Albert. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I don't know. It's probably an animation or a cartoon we call them, not animation so much, but a cartoon that I think a few of us old people remember. I think I used to watch that when I was a kid. Yeah, yeah. You can find stomach vacuum videos on YouTube and breath work that I talk about. Also, yeah, vacuums are a great habit to do. Yeah, they are. I'm in the habit of doing them while at the sink doing dishes. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, yeah. Do them while you're doing something else. Yeah, a lot of these habits that like we in like I was talking about in eight habits in the eight habits that saved me video. A lot of these habits you can do simultaneously with other things that you're doing. Like breath work. You do it if you do it outside. You're getting sunlight and setting your circadian rhythm. Okay, circadian biology. First thing in the morning, and sitting on the ground. So there's three. You got grounding, sunlight, and breath work. Okay, and this sets up your whole day. It's very easy to do too. And it's great energy boost for you for the rest of your day. It really does give you a lot more energy for the rest of your day. It's a good way to start. Yeah. And it's very time effective as well, you know. Like 15 minutes of breath work outside, you get doing your grounding, getting sunlight. Okay, so you're setting your biology right for the rest of the day. 15 minutes really doesn't take much. It's not a big time commitment, So I do have a link. Actually, I've got an email address down the bottom there. If you guys want to, if anyone has a story, you are welcome to send me an email. There it is. There it is there. Send me an email. And if you want to be on Stories of Healing, you are most welcome to join the long list of people who are telling their stories of healing. Yeah, there you go. Any more questions, guys? I think we might wrap it up. Thank you all for joining me. I really do appreciate it, taking the time, and I hope it gave you some good information. Oh, that's a good idea. I take my morning coffee outside to get the light. Excellent. It's a good idea. I think if you can, the more time you spend outside, like while you're eating your food as well, is very good, very healthy way to eat your meals. If you can. So it's always good. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Beth. Really appreciate it. If you do think of any more questions that you want to ask, just pop them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Other than that, thanks again for joining me. Okay. Maybe next time maybe next time I will not be running in and out and trying to get work done after being inside 4 hours this morning. Yeah, that was a pretty long chat, mate. Yeah, it is a beautiful day, Josephine. Thank you. You have a great day too. Okay. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Yeah, it's a nice sunny day today, so I want to go out and enjoy some more sun after a few hours this morning. So again, stay healthy, stay strong, and as strong as you can be. All right. So, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.